I feel good, and I'm gonna go out there and perform and do what I do best.
Floyd, you really want to take them both on at the same night? Both
Absolutely, easy. You got two fake fighters. Fake fighter, I'm a real fighter. What is Bob?
Get Al Heyman.
Absolutely, I don't need Al Heyman.
Let me call Al Heyman.
I'm my own
Let's make it
boss.
happen.
I'm my own boss.
One night. Got your hat. Got your hat. Got your hat.
In a shocking update, chaos erupted after Floyd Mayweather confronted Jake Paul for fighting Mike Tyson. On the other hand, at the lively Fanatics Fest NYC press conference, Mike Tyson's words were sparse, but his body language spoke volumes about his mindset as he prepared for his upcoming bout with Jake Paul. On Sunday, Tyson and Paul squared off before an electrified audience at New York's Javits Center, ramping up the excitement for their eagerly awaited showdown. The contrasting styles of the two fighters underscored their 31-year age difference. Paul embraced the villainous persona with gusto, lobbing expletives and sharp remarks at both his rival and the hostile audience. In stark contrast, Tyson exuded calm amid the chaos, responding to questions with terse, measured answers and occasionally grappling for words. Body language specialist Judy James stated to Mirror Sport US that Tyson appeared uncomfortable and surprised by the carnival-like environment that surrounded him. She said, "Tyson fails to come alive during the trash talk, despite being prodded hard. He looks and sounds like a man now used to more polite and respectful interviews. He stalls at more than one question, sounding distracted or confused." James added that Mike's pauses and delays and his confused-sounding answers could be down to what he might feel is a ridiculous situation. The man has fought the best, and now he is sitting with a YouTuber in front of a completely different generation audience. He might also have been deafened by the noise. We hear what the mics pick up, but in a very noisy room like this, the questions don't always carry as they get drowned out. James observed Paul's flair for theatrics, which had undeniably attracted a lot more attention to his professional bouts. But now, as Tyson nears the end of his boxing journey, he seems uninterested in indulging the 27-year-old's antics. James said, "Jake Paul's talent for panto is immeasurable. He is clearly in awe of Tyson, but he delivers trash talk that soaks up the booze that Tyson himself once used to get. Tyson acted like a man who should be in the Boxing Hall of Fame, not getting goaded into trading insults with a guy easily young enough to be his son. Jake Paul, whether adored or detested, commands undeniable attention in the realm of combat sports. This YouTuber turned boxer boasts a 10-1 record, with victories against notable figures such as Mike Perry, Nate Diaz, Tyrone Woodley, and even the legendary Anderson Silva. The next chapter in his dramatic journey is set for November 15th, when he'll step into the ring with heavyweight icon Mike Tyson. Fans across the globe will be able to catch the electrifying bout on Netflix. In the high-stakes arena of boxing, where legends emerge from fierce confrontations, Paul stands as a rare exception. The transition from social media fame to boxing prowess is hardly a conventional journey. Nevertheless, Paul has managed to establish his presence in a sport that thrives on respect and tradition. Joe Rogan attributes his success to a blend of inherent talent and the constant underestimation that fuels his drive. In episode 2191 of the Joe Rogan Experience, Hollywood icon Russell Crowe sat down with Rogan for an in-depth chat. The conversation veered towards the world of boxing, with Crowe expressing keen interest in Rogan's views on the problem child and his remarkable achievements in the ring. Rogan mentioned that he often says if Jake Paul weren't a YouTube star and was viewed solely as an up-and-coming boxer, people would recognize his significant talent, noting that Paul is indeed dangerous.
Say this kid's got a lot of fucking talent. Right. He's dangerous. He's dangerous. I think his strength is that people, for whatever stupid reasons, they underestimate him because of what his background was.
Paul's rise to fame as an internet sensation has often led critics to regard him as merely a spectacle, a mere distraction from the pure essence of boxing. Yet Rogan, seasoned in the world of fighting, perceives a deeper potential. He highlighted that Paul's true asset is his ability to thrive under the radar of expectations. Rogan confessed that he believes Paul's strength lies in the fact that people, for whatever misguided reasons, underestimate him due to his background, assuming that someone who gained fame through YouTube couldn't possibly become a legitimate boxer.
Right. And they think there's no way that some guy who became famous off of YouTube is going to be an actual legit boxer. Right. But if you look at what he's done, the time that he's put into it, and the ability that he has, just the sheer ability, he's a very good boxer.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, and he seems to treat his body the right way too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trains hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched a lot of his training footage. I've watched all of his fights. He can fight.
What do you think of the thing with Mike though?
58 is 58.
Yeah.
No matter what. No matter what.
Fascinated by Rogan's evaluation, Crow noted that Paul appears to take excellent care of his body, a crucial element for any athlete's triumph. Rogan agreed, noting that Paul trains hard. He mentioned that he had watched a lot of Paul's training footage in all of his fights, affirming that Paul can indeed fight. When the topic of Paul's upcoming bout was mentioned, Rogan, expressing concern, remarked that 58 is still 58, regardless of what one is taking or doing. The podcast host did indicate that Mike Tyson might be a different kind of human being, but the age difference between him and Paul would still make the fight a daunting task for Iron. The clash between Tyson and Paul has sparked sharp backlash from another major MMA figure, who didn't mince words in their critique of the problem child and Tyson's latest press conference.
Taking and what they're doing for you, and you're still 58. But 58-year-old Mike Tyson is not 50-year-old Mike Jones that lives down the street. It's a different kind of human being, and he still can knock your fucking head into another dimension if he can catch you.
Yeah.
The thing is, can he catch a 28-year-old guy who's at the top of his career, who's winning legitimate boxing matches?
However, Paul's display of bravado during the press conference has riled up former UFC champion Michael Bisping, who expressed his frustration with the YouTuber's antics. In response to the press conference, Bisping stated on his YouTube channel that the fight itself isn't the only thing bothering him. Rather, it's what the fight stands for. The Count stated that, "Challenge yourself, you pathetic man. You pathetic individual. Fighting is about challenging yourself. Granted, business, killing it in that regard. But don't give me this fighter bullshit. That's what gets on my nerves." He took Paul to task for presenting himself as a formidable contender, while opting to face an opponent who, though once a terrifying force in combat sports, is now long past his prime. Bisping reminded everyone of this fact, stressing that the man was a straight killer. Was, again, the key word. In the end, this fight is far more than a mere exchange of blows. It's a meeting of different eras, legacies, and viewpoints. Whether it's a genuine showdown or a strategic financial play, the bout between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson is bound to capture widespread attention. In a rare instance of fraternizing with the enemy, Mike Tyson made a surprise appearance on Logan Paul's podcast, Impulsive, on Tuesday. Logan, Jake Paul's elder brother, had a roughly 45-minute chat with Tyson during which he was mostly kind, albeit there were a few cautions for the former heavyweight champion. As the countdown ticks closer to Tyson's clash with Jake Paul, excitement is building for a showdown marked by a striking 31-year age difference between the legendary Iron Mike and the younger problem child, who recently celebrated a decisive victory over bare-knuckle fighter Mike Perry. During a particularly chilling segment on the podcast, Logan Paul divulged unsettling personal revelations about his brother, offering a glimpse of what might make boxing fans shiver as they anticipate the Netflix-sponsored event. Logan told Tyson that Jake wanted to be a Navy SEAL and end people on behalf of his country when he was in high school, well before he began to seriously pursue a career in the ring. A stone-faced Tyson appeared to listen intently and responded when Logan implied that Tyson was thinking of Jake as a gimmick and not as a professional boxer. Tyson said that he takes him extremely seriously.
I love you, Mike.
Same.
And I'm very nervous for you.
Thank you for caring.
I do care. I care about you. And I care about my brother. And I know the path he's on right now. And it's ruthless, Mike.
I agree. It's pretty cool.
It's cool. It's so cool to watch. And he's really crushing it. And I just feel like I want you to be okay in there, Mike. And I want you got to take him serious, Mike, because
I take him extremely serious. I take him extremely serious. These people don't take him serious.
No, they don't. And it's such a mistake because he's a real killer, Mike. Like, he wanted to be a Navy SEAL before he started boxing. Like, in high school, he wants to be a Navy SEAL. He wanted to go kill people on behalf of his country.
Tyson's tumultuous history, marked by a 3-year prison stint after a 1992 rape conviction, has forged him into a man who understands the precariousness of life, realizing that anyone could take it from him at any moment. This hardened mindset is likely the one he'll carry into his November bout, where Jake Paul has confidently declared that he'll be walking away with a $40 million prize. Tyson said, "This is what I've learned through my 58 years of experience. Anyone is capable of killing you. In my life, and the way I've lived my life, you should be apprehensive of anyone." Tyson's latest health scare, marked by a flare-up of an ulcer that has postponed their eagerly awaited bout to November, seems to have introduced a new layer of calm to his already cautious and apprehensive demeanor. If he's genuinely respecting Jake Paul as a worthy opponent, the fight set to unfold in November in the heart of Texas might turn out to be a classic clash rather than just another money-making event. In New York, Tyson was met with thunderous support. The roar of the crowd was deafening as Paul took the stage, greeted instead by a wave of boos. The former undisputed heavyweight champion, in contrast, was hailed with the adoration of a triumphant hero. During the event, a chant of "F Jake Paul" erupted from the fan zone, which triggered a fierce reaction from the problem child himself. Jake Paul retorted to the New York crowd, telling them to hush and suggesting they should boo themselves. He took a swipe at the city by comparing it to Mike Tyson, implying both had seen better days 2 decades ago, before throwing in a few more jabs at the city's expense.
Hey, New York, shut the f up, New York. Hey, boo yourselves. Boo yourselves, New York. Hey, New York, New York, New York, you're just like Mike Tyson. You were good 20 years ago. You, New York. You. Dumbass Democratic City.
Despite Paul's relentless efforts to get under Tyson's skin at the press event, the boxing icon stayed cool and unruffled. Paul taunted Tyson with barbs about needing a menopause break to delay the fight, and questioned whether his stomach was still an issue. Tyson, unfazed, responded with a laid-back remark, stating that he was feeling much improved.
You had to go on your little menopause break and postpone the fight, so yeah. What about that, dog? I was ready before. You needed a little break. Your tummy hurt? Your tummy hurt still?
I feel a lot better now. I feel a lot better.
When the master of ceremonies inquired if he was genuinely ill or simply afraid to face Paul, Tyson cheekily admitted to being petrified. As the press conference wrapped up and the two came face to face, Tyson playfully nudged Paul twice. However, the YouTuber turned boxer wasn't exactly tickled by the prank. He responded with a solid chest thump and a steely, unflinching stare. At the press conference, Paul seemed visibly on edge, a stark contrast to the evening's earlier events where he had ominously threatened Tyson with death. Despite his professed admiration and respect for Mike Tyson, Paul made it clear that their friendship was a thing of the past. With a steely resolve, he declared that on November 15th, he would deliver a knockout blow that would settle their rivalry once and for all. Paul disparaged Tyson as past his prime and vowed to put him in his place, likening his impending victory to a lesson in discipline.
That's why I love Mike, I respect him, but we're not friends anymore. Until November 15th, I'm knocking this motherfucker out, and we're gonna see who's dead. We will see who's dead. We will see who's dead, Mike. We will. We will.
Hey,
Mike, when you hear Jake Paul say, though, we're gonna see who's dead, what does that do to you? Does that make you put yourself in the mindset of understanding that this young killer wants to take you out?
is he really a young killer?
As the countdown begins to their much-anticipated boxing showdown. Later this year, Mike Tyson has responded to Jake Paul's provocative challenge. This November, Tyson will step back into the ring to face Paul, signaling his return to professional boxing after a hiatus of nearly 20 years. Tyson's last appearance in the ring saw him retire on his stool after 5 rounds against Kevin McBride. Paul confronted Tyson with a defiant grin. He recognized Tyson's ominous prediction about it being his funeral and wake, but made it clear that their friendship had ended. With a steely resolve, Paul promised to knock Tyson out and see who would be left standing when the dust settled.
All the people in my comments saying, look at his power, he's gonna get KO'd. People are yelling at me in the event, but what happens when I put this man to sleep? This is not a joke. He's saying that it's gonna be my funeral. He's saying it's gonna be my wake. He's gonna kill Jake Paul, all of these things. And that's why I love Mike, I respect him, but we're not friends anymore. Until November 15th, I'm knocking this fucker out.
During the press conference, host Ryan Clark asked Tyson how he felt hearing Jake Paul say, "We're going to see who's dead," and whether it made him adopt a mindset of understanding that this young killer wanted to take him out. Tyson responded perfectly, questioning, is he really a young killer? Tyson expanded on his point by noting that a YouTuber was gearing up to face the greatest fighter in history. While he admitted that Paul had encountered opponents with high ambitions before, he stressed that this match would be unlike any other. Tyson boldly predicted that the moment he landed a punch, the fight would be over, with Paul retreating in defeat.
Listen to the fact. We got a YouTuber fighting the greatest fighter that ever lived.
Jake, when you...
Every time these fighters sit across from me and it's YouTuber, it's Disney Channel, all that shit, and then you end up on the fucking canvas and you'll see, it's gonna be no different here, I promise you that.
Catch this guy, because he's gonna be running around, but as soon as I catch this guy, it's gonna be totally over.
Tyson was adamant about his readiness for the upcoming fight, revealing that he's back in training after a brief hiatus mandated by his doctor. He affirmed that the bout is definitely on and that he's in top form. Although he had encountered a minor health issue, Tyson emphasized that he's fully recovered and feeling strong. With confidence, he stated that he's prepared and eager to let his performance in the ring do the talking.
It's happening. We're all here.
How prepared are you to knock Jake Paul out?
I'm very prepared. I'm very prepared. I had a small adversity. I got sick, but I'm better. I feel good.
UFC fighter Henry Cejudo stated earlier this year that Tyson will get $20 million for taking on Paul. During an appearance on his podcast with Kamaru Usman, Cejudo said, "I mean, you know what I respect, Uncle Mike, but it obviously takes two to tango. I feel like there is probably a really good payday for Mike. He's probably going to wind up making close to about 20 mil, and he's about to turn 58 years old." Daniel Cormier, a former UFC champion, stated that Paul and Tyson are in a no-win scenario. He said, "It might ruin you if he just beats on Mike Tyson. He's in a no-win situation. I don't know that he thought this one through as much as he probably should have been, because if you just go out there and you just beat the shit out of Mike Tyson, everybody's going to be really mad at you. I mean, really mad." Jake Paul has set the stage with a brazen statement regarding his expected earnings from his fight against heavyweight superstar Mike Tyson on November 15th on Netflix. "I'm here to make $40 million and knock out a legend," Paul said during Sunday's press conference at Fanatics Fest in New York City. Paul couldn't resist poking fun at Mike Tyson by taking jabs at his hometown New York City. At Sunday's event, Paul reveled in the limelight, stoking the crowd's disdain with audacious promises of shocking the world when he steps into the ring with Tyson. In contrast, Tyson remained cool and collected while fielding questions from ESPN analyst Ryan Clark, who was moderating the press conference. During their face-off, the former heavyweight champ even playfully nudged Paul in a moment of levity. When asked why he would agree to a fight against Paul despite their 30-year age difference, Tyson responded, "Because I can. Who else can do it but me? Who else is he gonna fight to make this happen? We just gotta listen to the fact we got a YouTuber fighting the greatest fighter that has ever lived." After the press conference, Paul took to X to declare that come November, he'll be serving Tyson his final reckoning in the ring. Originally scheduled to fight Tyson on July 20th, the 58-year-old was forced to withdraw due to a severe ulcer flare-up. In his absence, Paul faced off against bare-knuckle fighting championship star Mike Perry instead, triumphing with a 6th-round TKO and improving his professional record to 10-1. At 27, he's certain that facing Tyson in the ring is a vital move toward realizing his ambition of becoming a boxing champion. While some doubt Paul's chances, his knack for drawing in a huge crowd is indisputable. The November fight is set to be as electrifying as ever. When you think of Mike Tyson in the ring, what do you see? His thunderous power and unyielding ferocity, a storm of punches that seems immune to the passage of time. That's precisely why Tim Bradley Jr. backs Tyson to secure a knockout when the American legend faces off against Jake Paul. The matchup has sparked intense discussion among fans, with many doubting the prudence of putting Tyson, a fighter whose age and reflexes are perceived as waning, against a considerably younger opponent. Worries have grown due to Tyson's recent struggles, including a mid-flight altercation and a flare-up of an ulcer. Yet, at 40, Bradley Jr. stands firm in his belief that Tyson can still pull off a win reminiscent of his glory days. What drives this audacious forecast? During a recent interview with Pro Box TV, Bradley Jr. proposed that a 2-minute round might allow the former heavyweight champion to fully unleash his ferocity. With a 50-6 record, Tyson could find Paul, who holds a 10-1 record, trapped against the ropes, hammering him with brutal body blows and overpowering him with relentless force. He said, "Mike Tyson has the potential to knock this man out. You know that the power is the last thing that leaves you. This is Mike Tyson we're talking about. 2 minutes. That's all it takes. He can get the knockout. Knock Disney Boy the hell out." While many predict Tyson will emerge victorious, there's a lingering worry about the possibility of him being knocked out. The once dominant champion seems a shadow of his former self, dealing with the toll of age, sciatica, hip surgery, and the struggle to sustain the stamina required for a professional fight. UFC star Michael Chandler echoes these concerns. Consider this. What if Bradley Jr.'s prediction had been flipped on its head? At 38, Chandler chose to step back from dissecting Problem Child's last fight against Mike Perry, despite holding a 20-pound weight advantage and standing nearly 4 inches taller than him. He told Lucky Block, "Now it's Mike Tyson, who is 30 years older." Mike Tyson's about 60 and Jake's about 30. I love Mike. Nobody wants to see Mike Tyson get knocked out, but everybody wants to see Mike Tyson catch Jake Paul and knock him out. As Tyson made his entrance at the press conference, he was greeted with a roar of admiration, while Paul opted to face the crowd with a bold, unyielding demeanor. Paul, clearly agitated, reacted sharply to the pro-Tyson cheers, snapping at the crowd to shut up with a fervor that contradicted his usually self-assured demeanor. The problem child, who has openly declared his support for former president and New York fixture Donald Trump, went further to label New York as a Democratic stronghold, referencing its well-established reputation as a politically left-leaning city. Tyson, the ex-heavyweight champion famously dubbed the baddest man on the planet, basked in the cheers of the crowd, refusing to be baited by Paul's provocative taunts. Iron Mike stayed true to his word, delivering a straightforward promise. Come November, he would teach Paul a lesson in the ring, just as a father would discipline a son.
I've been training for a while, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
I'm just asking when you get into camp.
I'm okay to fight.
But when you get into camp, like when?
I'm in camp right now.
Very good, thank you.
I'm in camp right now.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Soon as I catch this guy, 'cause he's gonna be running around, but as soon as I catch this guy, it's gonna be totally over.
In a surreal twist, Jake Paul likened himself to Muhammad Ali, all the while hurling death threats at Mike Tyson during a chaotic press conference in New York, which descended into a comical shoving match. Paul mocked the former world heavyweight champion for needing a menopause break, but the 58-year-old contender remains unfazed. He's been hitting the gym with relentless intensity for weeks, ready to face off against an opponent nearly 30 years his junior. Though the moniker, the baddest man on the planet, might harken back to his final professional fight in 2005, Mike Tyson's legendary presence was anything but faded at Fanatics Fest NYC in Manhattan. The Brooklyn native, just a stone's throw from the event across the East River, ignited the crowd with his arrival, demonstrating that his legendary influence is still as vibrant and powerful as ever. Tyson's magnetic charisma remains undeniable, and his entrance into New York drew an enormous crowd. Despite his flair for spectacle, he opted to leave the gritty work of fight promotion to Paul. Tyson dismissed numerous opportunities to belittle his opponent, offering only vague and tepid comments instead. When he finally addressed Paul directly, he issued a stern warning. The bout would be long and grueling. Tyson made it clear that he intended to finish the fight decisively and urged Paul to come prepared, stressing that his own well-being was on the line.
Be in shape, be in good shape, because your health depends on it.
When they finally came face-to-face, the 58-year-old initiated a lackluster shoving match. Just moments earlier, Paul, whose impressive record boasted 10 wins in 11 professional fights, had audaciously proclaimed that his battles against skeptics and challengers had transformed him into the modern-day Muhammad Ali. Paul said, "I'm the anti-hero. People will love me soon enough. When you're at the top, people are clawing to pull you down. That's the way the game goes. He's vicious. He's a killer. I know all these things, but I will prove all the haters wrong." In a dramatic turn of events, Floyd Mayweather has announced his readiness to enter the ring to crush Jake Paul's boxing dreams, should Mike Tyson fall short. This bold statement injects a fresh dose of excitement into the already electrifying saga between Jake Paul and the sport's legendary figures. Floyd Mayweather, renowned for his undefeated professional record and legendary status in boxing, was blunt in his recent announcement. At a press conference, he declared with conviction that if Mike Tyson fails to end Jake Paul's charade, he will take matters into his own hands. He declared he's had his fill of this circus. Boxing deserves respect, and Jake Paul has disrespected it for too long. If Tyson can't handle the situation, he's prepared to step in and finish the job himself. This statement directly challenges Jake Paul, who has stirred up the boxing world by facing former MMA fighters and other influencers. However, he has yet to step into the ring with a professional boxer of Mayweather's or Tyson's caliber. Mike Tyson, the legendary former heavyweight champion, is ramping up his training for a potential bout with Jake Paul. His return to the ring, along with his intense preparation, has already sparked considerable excitement and anticipation.
Day 3, you still want to f with me?
Mayweather's comments hint at doubts about Tyson's ability to decisively conclude Paul's venture into professional boxing. His readiness to step in highlights the gravity with which he regards the situation and his commitment to safeguarding the sport's integrity. Mayweather and Paul's clash is steeped in a shared history. In the past, Mayweather faced off against Logan Paul, Jake's older brother, in an exhibition match that concluded without a knockout. This outcome left some fans disillusioned and critics questioning Mayweather's present skill level. Since then, Jake Paul has seized the spotlight, challenging several high-profile fighters, with Mayweather among his targets. Jake Paul fired back at Mayweather's recent remarks with his usual flair, suggesting that Mayweather was clinging to his name to stay relevant. Paul's bold provocations and daring challenges have kept him in the limelight, intensifying the speculation about a possible showdown with boxing legends. Make sure to check out some of our other videos on the screen if you enjoyed this one.